Have you ever wondered about the strangest photos that time has forgotten? Today, we will reveal to you the strangest and most fascinating vintage photos that you will love. I promise you. Enjoy the show. Remember 1990s, Wild at Heart? David Lynch paired up Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern for what turned into pure movie magic. These two lit up the screen like a Vegas jackpot, with Cage rocking that snakeskin jacket and Dern channeling pure rock and roll attitude. You'd never guess this wild ride won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, beating out some pretty serious competition. Think your lunch breaks are dull? In 1900, these Chattanooga department store ladies turned their rooftop into a social club. Those fancy hats they're tipping? Company uniforms. Stores insisted on proper headwear back then. Looking sharp in those Victorian outfits while balancing on a rooftop? Now that's what I call style with attitude. You're looking at the birth of American ski culture, 1946, Idaho. Those fancy sunbathers? They started a revolution in winter sports fashion. Before this, skiing was all business. But these folks brought style to the slopes. Check out those high-waisted pants and cable-knit sweaters. Pure vintage cool. And those sunglasses? The original Ray-Ban aviators that everyone copied. Meet Charlotte Greenwood, the original multitasker of 1928. This talented performer could memorize scripts while doing splits. No joke. A Broadway sensation who did her own stunts, she was famous for her incredible flexibility. Think you've seen rubberneckers? Back in the 1940s, car accidents were such rare events that they became instant neighborhood gatherings. That Cadillac's crumpled nose drew crowds like a drive-in movie premiere. In an era of fancy dresses, here's a fashion secret from Queen Victoria herself. That stunning black velvet gown, it sparked a style revolution. Victoria made black clothing fashionable across Europe, not just for mourning anymore. Those tiny buttons down the front, each one cost more than a worker's monthly salary. Here's a fascinating bit of Hollywood magic from 1975. That's a 13-year-old Jodie Foster and her double Connie on the set of Taxi Driver. Scorsese needed an adult stand-in due to strict filming regulations, so he hired Jodie's sister to keep the family resemblance. Only in 1970s, California, would you find physics taught like this. This innovative teacher turned surfing into a science lesson, complete with radical demonstrations. Notice the formula on the board. That's for calculating the perfect wave. When genius meets comedy. Here's Einstein and Chaplin at the City Lights premiere in 1931. Einstein whispered to Chaplin, "People clap for me because nobody understands what I say. They clap for you because everybody understands what you don't say." That's right. Science's greatest mind praising silent comedy. Guess brilliance speaks every language? Behind the scenes of Bewitched, 1967. Elizabeth Montgomery taking a break between scenes, but still looking every bit the star. Those signature Ray-Ban shades? They became just as iconic as Samantha's nose twitch. Two women demonstrate how to turn a sidecar into a small caravan. The motorcycle is a Panther model 120 650 cubic centimeter single-cylinder engine, 1958. Nevada Desert, 1961. Marilyn Monroe takes a break during The Misfits to chat with a tiny fan. Those jeans and tied shirt, they sparked a whole new casual fashion trend. Fun fact, Monroe insists on using her personal umbrella handler during filming, not for diva reasons, but to protect her fair skin in the scorching desert sun. Las Vegas, 1960. Even stars get bored with the glitz and glamour. Here's Marilyn Monroe at a craps table, looking more interested in her thoughts than the game. This rare candid shot shows the real person behind the legend. Even in the entertainment capital of the world, sometimes you just want a quiet moment. Imagine having that much star power and still being over the whole Vegas scene. Talk about symbolism. This promo shot for The Silence of the Lambs perfectly captures the film's essence. Jodie Foster holding an innocent lamb against that gothic backdrop. Pure artistic genius. New York, 1978, when punk met poetry. Here's Debbie Harry of Blondie, showing why they called her the Queen of CBGBs. That iconic pose became the blueprint for rock performers. Pure 70s style right here. Charles Bronson and Jill Ireland strolling through Hollywood. Those floral palazzo pants she's wearing? They cost more than his entire outfit, yet he'd proudly tell everyone it was his wife's killer fashion sense. Movie marketing in 1933 had style. This creative ticket booth for King Kong at Grauman's Chinese Theater was pure genius. For just 24 cents, you could buy your ticket from inside Kong's mouth. January 13th, 1968. A simple wooden stool and 4 microphones made music history. Cash insisted on recording at Folsom Prison, despite everyone saying it was too risky. Here's a rare shot from Tootsie screen tests in 1981. That's Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver before the movie's final casting. Murray was considered for the lead role that eventually went to Dustin Hoffman. Here's a fun fact about 1977's Wonder Woman. That iconic costume wasn't just for show. Every star and stripe had to be hand-stitched, and the outfit weighed over 40 pounds with all the gear. Linda Carter, a former beauty queen, brought such grace to the role that DC Comics actually changed their artwork to match her look. British cinema changed forever with 1971's Get Carter. Michael Caine brought his signature style to this groundbreaking crime film. They shot most scenes on location in Newcastle, using real buildings instead of sets. The iconic black coat? Caine picked it himself from his own wardrobe. Meet Jane Fonda, 1967. Actress, fitness pioneer, and former ballet dancer. Before her famous workout videos, she trained at the bar for 15 years. That legendary flexibility? Pure dedication. She practiced 4 hours daily. Now, this is a rock and roll wedding. Paula Yates and Bob Geldof, 1986, surrounded by the coolest guest list in London. That stunning red dress made headlines across Europe. See David Gilmour in his kilt and Simon Le Bon looking dapper in black tie. Think your wardrobe is complicated? These 1890s fashionistas wore outfits weighing up to 15 pounds. Each dress took over 12 yards of fabric, and those fancy hats, all handmade with real flowers and feathers. This 1863 portrait tells an amazing story. Photographer Matthew Brady caught Lincoln in a rare moment of calm during the Civil War. That slight smile? Brady actually told Lincoln a joke right before taking the shot. The camera technology back then required sitting completely still for 90 seconds. Imagine holding that expression. Talk about Hollywood excess. This costume from Cleopatra cost more than an average house in 1963. Elizabeth Taylor made history as the first actor to earn $1 million salary, and that golden dress, pure silk covered in 24-karat gold thread. The crown she's wearing took 3 months to handcraft, and here's Matt groaning in 1990 when The Simpsons was just taking off. Fun fact, he sketched the original Simpson family in just 15 minutes while waiting in a TV producer's office. That Bart poster on his wall, worth pennies then, thousands now. Nobody knew they were looking at what would become the longest-running animated series in television history. Talk about a dough. Moment turned into gold. California, 1977. Peak Farrah Fawcett era. That iconic tennis outfit actually started a nationwide fitness craze. Those wooden tennis rackets she's holding, they cost about $20 back then. Her hairstyle was so popular that stores couldn't keep enough hairspray in stock to copy it. 1955, when Hollywood glamour met real-life fairy tales. Here's Grace Kelly with her Great Dane, just months before becoming Princess of Monaco. That casual outfit, actually from Dior's private collection. The photographer caught this candid moment during a press tour for To Catch a Thief, behind the scenes of Galaxy Quest 1999, a parody that became a cult classic. This movie was such a perfect Star Trek spoof that Patrick Stewart refused to watch it for years, worried it would mock his career. Madison Square Garden, May 1962, the night of JFK's birthday celebration. That's opera legend Maria Callas and Marilyn Monroe in completely opposite styles. Marilyn's dress, designed by Jean Louis, so tight she had to be sewn into it. This famous sparkly gown later sold at auction for $4.8 million. Before Deadpool and Homeland, here's Morena Baccarin in her high school production, 1996. Looking space-age ready even then. Guess that was perfect practice for her later role in Firefly. December 8th, 1980. An intimate moment captured in history. This grainy photo shows John Lennon in his signature glasses, just hours after finishing work at the record plant studio. He'd spent the day working on Yoko's song, Walking on Thin Ice. Here's something special. Jimmy Stewart helping at his dad's hardware store in Indiana, Pennsylvania, 1945. Between Hollywood hits, he'd come back home to work the counter. That's a box of Soylax he's holding, just 25 cents back then. Early 1950s fashion at its finest. Here's Princess Margaret and then Princess Elizabeth, both trendsetters of their time. Those matching handbags, custom made by Launer London, still the royal family's favorite brand today. Elizabeth chose practical flats while Margaret went for heels, their personalities shining through their style choices. Even royalty couldn't resist a bit of sisterly fashion competition. Athens, 1905. Meet one of the first travel photographers at the Parthenon. Those long skirts and fitted jackets were the standard tourist outfit, even in Greek heat. Her camera, probably a Kodak Brownie, the world's first affordable snapshot camera, costing just $1. Picture this, a thrill ride straight up an active volcano. In 1880, these brilliant engineers built a railway climbing Mount Vesuvius at a mind-bending 45-degree angle. The ride became such a sensation that they wrote a song about it, Funiculi, Funicula, which turned into a worldwide hit. Picture this. In 1963, this remarkable actress pulled off something incredible. She starred in 2 masterpiece films at the exact same time. Moving back and forth between sets, she experienced two completely different directing styles. On Visconti's The Leopard set, it was like being in church. Dead silent, everything meticulously planned. Meanwhile, on Fellini's 8.5 set, it was pure chaos and improvisation. Both films are now considered among the greatest ever made. In 1965, a fascinating story unfolded at Big Sur, California. This talented actress played Laura Reynolds, a free-spirited artist living in an isolated beach house. The role perfectly matched her real personality, independent and unafraid to challenge society's rules. In 1925, photographer Marcelin Flandrin captured an extraordinary moment during his flight on the Casablanca-Dakar air route. A solitary Barbary lion walking through the Atlas Mountains. This haunting image shows the majestic creature traversing the rocky terrain, creating a striking silhouette against the mountainous landscape. The 1990s saw this young talent turn down Stanford University to chase her dreams. Smart move. By 1996, she was lighting up the screen in edgy films like Fear and Freeway. Then came the knockout punch. 1999 brought us Election, where she played Tracy Flick, a role that earned her first Golden Globe nomination. Picture this. In 1961, a young Swedish-American burst onto Hollywood's scene and quickly became its brightest star. Starting in Vegas lounges at 5 p.m. shows where nobody showed up, she transformed into a sensation by 1963. Here's a delightful snapshot from 1964 that captures a special moment between two generations of comedy. A young Ron Howard shares a laugh with the legendary Don Knotts during what appears to be an impromptu baseball moment. Step back to 1940, when 10 cents would get you a steaming cup of coffee and a hot hamburger. This roadside diner represents the golden age of American dining, when these gleaming stainless steel havens dotted our highways. Picture this. Back in 1961, when air travel was the height of glamour, airlines would occasionally transport exotic animals in style. This striking photo shows an elegant flight attendant walking a cheetah on the tarmac at Amsterdam Airport, with a sleek aircraft in the background. Picture this. A hot September day in 1964 on Disney's backlot, where two entertainment legends were about to make movie magic. Julie Andrews, just 6 weeks after giving birth and never having made a movie before, arrives to find Dick Van Dyke already dancing away with the choreographers under a giant tarpaulin shade. Picture this. 1975 in Los Angeles, when fashion and rock and roll collided in the most fascinating way. A talented costume designer meets the thin white Duke himself, creating one of music's most intriguing partnerships. Picture this. Paris in the 1930s, where fashion took elegant turn from the carefree flapper era. The first photo captures this transformation perfectly, showing two young women embodying different styles of the decade. One in a soft, feminine pink dress with a beret. The other sporting the bold new look with round sunglasses and a striking black ensemble. Take a look at 1976, when an 18-year-old dance student was about to change the face of pop culture forever. This talented freshman at the University of Michigan earned a full scholarship for her exceptional dance abilities, maintaining straight A's while pursuing her passion for ballet and modern dance.